Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. 300 episodes. 300! We've made it to a big milestone, and before we get to an awesome show packed with a new Zelda game for 2022, Switch Sports for over a year, Marvel Midnight Suns, and E3's replacement show, I want to give you a little taste of episode 1. Good morning, Mario.
Okie dokie.
Yep. That is where we began, and now we're here. You ever wake up and think like, life is hard, okay? And I would be better off, it would be easier if I lived in an animated movie. Now, I'm not talking about a dark or depressing animated movie, and I'm definitely not talking about an animated movie featuring macaroni with eyes. I'm talking about a vibrant one, an exciting world, a fun, colorful place. That would be amazing. Well, good news, because today's video is brought to you by Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds. And if I could pick any animated world to live in, you know it would be Studio Ghibli. In fact, there are 2 Ni no Kuni games on Switch right now, and they're bringing out another one later this summer. Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds is a big open world RPG coming your way for free on mobile. It'll be on PC as well, and you can pre-register right now to get in as soon as possible. Make sure to click the link in the description down below if you would like to live in a bold, vibrant world full of trees with glasses, giant multi-headed dragons, and a really fat bat that tries to eat people. Every time you click the link, it helps support the channel, which I super appreciate, and it moves you one step closer to waking up in that animated world full of color, creatures, and way less taxes. And I gotta give a big thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you for making this possible, for supporting me, and for believing in what I stand for and what I love to do with all of you. So thank you. Here's to 300 more, but this feels fantastic. And we do have a special little treat coming out later this week. It is called Switch Force Astrology Club. Stay tuned for that. But let's get right into the news. Make sure to hit that like button if you're excited for 300 and excited for what I'm about to tell you. Make sure to let me know your take on today's topics in the comments down below. And let's kick it off with a little Marvel action. Doctor Strange about to be out in theaters. I am so pumped to see it. But Marvel Midnight Suns is coming to Switch later this year. This is the XCOM style Marvel game from 2K with a very interesting aesthetic and taking Marvel into like a card game tactics type genre that I think is going to be awesome. It was initially due in March of this year, pushed back to second half, but it was just rated in Australia, and it sounds like it's a spicy time. All right, it got a mature rating in Australia for all sorts of stuff. Now, mature rating in Australia could mean teen or it could mean mature here in the States. I kind of hope they go with the latter. I kind of hope they just make this like a balls to the wall, kind of crazy, intense Marvel and really do it justice. Unlike the Avengers game, which apparently lost $200 million for Square Enix. Cannot wait for Midnight Suns though, and hopefully we get more information soon. Now, speaking of more info, we'll probably get it around E3, but E3 isn't what it used to be. There's no E3 this year, yet everyone is still gonna have their big presentations. We know Xbox and Bethesda are going on June 12th, and now we know that Jeff Keighley is bringing the Summer Games Fest on June the 9th. All right, so that week is going to be loaded and packed up. You can actually go watch the Summer Games Fest in movie theaters in IMAX, which is actually pretty darn neat. If I wasn't streaming it with you guys, like, I think that would be a cool experience. So now we've got this on the 9th, Xbox on the 12th, and it makes sense that Nintendo will go right around there. So even though their Indie Direct for the spring has been mysteriously absent, I feel very confident that we'll be getting the June Direct like June 11th, June 13th, June 14th, right around there that week. Everything is gonna sort of line up to basically be E3 without being E3, you know what I mean? Now, one of the small things they'll probably show off at that Direct is Switch Sports The Future, because that game is selling like hotcakes, it is doing very well, and apparently they've got a lot of DLC planned. We know that golf is the big one coming later this fall, and we've seen basketball and dodgeball data mined, but now someone has uncovered 28 different reward collections, meaning the stuff you can earn by winning and leveling up in the online play. 28 collections would take us over a year's worth of DLC, and that sounds like excellent free support. They even have the names of the first 14 collections, and this is all like the gear and the outfits and the expressions you can win, and some of them sound amazing. There's Robot Collection, Ocean Collection, Ice Cream Collection. There's even a dolphin head. A squirrel suit? I mean, this is gonna get wild, furry, all sorts of porpoise-like, smooth, and stylish, and I'm ready for it. Honestly, as goofy as it is, like, this is a reason to keep playing Switch Sports beyond Waggle getting kind of worn out. Like, collecting this stuff is pretty neat, and there's sort of like an obsessive nature with, like, I wanna have these full collections. Nintendo has structured this super smartly, and I'm kind of really excited about it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've gotten Switch Sports yet, or if the word of mouth is making you consider it, or if being a Dolphin person is really what's gonna push you over the edge. You might have noticed the new addition to the background, and there's actually gonna be another big change to the set later this week. Stay tuned for that. But it wouldn't be a big monumental episode without a big monumental story. And today's is all about The Legend of Zelda. Back in 2022, but in a different fashion, and one that, I gotta be honest with you, I don't like. I really don't like so much, so let's fill you all in. Okay, we know Nintendo loves to have Link in every year, and we know that Breath of the Wild 2 has been pushed to 2023, so what are they gonna do? This comes from the main source, Jeff Grubb, who is a big insider, and I'd say the most reliable. So Jeff is saying that he knows Nintendo is sitting on a complete Zelda game, and he believes they will put it out in October. He says, I do believe it does actually come out in October. I think we get that in October. I think we get the Metroid Prime Remaster in November, and I think we get Advance Wars rescheduled, rebooted for December. Now, the Zelda he's talking about is that much rumored, heavily discussed Wind Waker Twilight Princess double pack. Now, a double pack has positives because it sure is better than selling them split individually, but I gotta say, Twilight Princess will become the most ported Nintendo game possibly ever, definitely in the modern era. Because you see, Twilight Princess originated on both GameCube and Wii, and then it was put out on Wii U as an HD version, and now on Switch would be 4 generations in a row with Twilight Princess. All of a sudden it becomes Forever Princess. It's not just at Twilight, it's all dang day long. 4 versions in 4 generations of Twilight Princess. Now, I like Midna and Wolf Link as much as the next person, but I feel like it's overkill. And I really don't want to go back to the era of just bringing things back. Look, Nintendo did that for the first few years of Switch, and it helped keep releases regular. But they've gone away from the Wii U ports, and thank goodness, right? I'm really actually happy about that, because even though it did give shine to some titles that didn't get a lot of love on the past console, it allows Nintendo to perform new symphonies, new releases, new Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Mario Strikers Battle League. It allows us to go forward. And I know the whole Breath of the Wild 2 thing is a debacle, and they did not expect for it to be delayed so many times. The world is a crazy place. But do we really need these games again? And I know some of you are like, Zach, that's so dumb. We get to play them on Switch. We get to play them portably. And for that, I get it. Playing Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the go is nice. But these are the 2 Zelda games that get redone the most. They get put out there a lot. And outside of like Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past, how did Twilight Princess become the one that is always there? Does anybody else feel like it's just a bit much? I know the Switch can't play Wii U games, and there's no other way to currently experience this title. I doubt Nintendo is going to do a lot with it. I doubt they're going to add new content or really sauce it up. I feel like they'll just take the Wii U HD version, maybe like tighten it 1 gear, and then say, voila, here you go. Now, if it's $60 for both games, that's a pretty good value, and that is the way that I think they win me back a little bit. If they indeed combo it like Jeff Grubb predicts, that would be good, and I'd say, okay, this is just a nice value proposition. But I can't lie to you, this would be a bummer for me, as this would be one of their big holiday games. Instead of Breath of the Wild 2, we're talking about 2 old Zeldas. And I'd personally rather them just say, you know what, it didn't work this year for Zelda, we're gonna give you Donkey Kong. Or we're gonna focus in on delivering Bayonetta and Metroid Prime, because at least that's a remaster. At least that's something that is refreshing, and it's not something that has been already done in an HD version. Does anybody else feel like it's Zelda overkill? They kind of skipped out on the anniversary, they're missing the mark with Breath of the Wild 2 thus far. I don't know, I don't feel like this was handled super well, and I wish they had another title ready to go, and let's be honest, maybe they do. Jeff Grubb could be wrong, and he doesn't know for sure. Nintendo is tricky like that. They maneuver around a lot, and they do sit on games for quite a while. They sit on completed projects until they feel it's necessary or the appropriate time to release them, And maybe they'll sit on this for a bit. Maybe they'll sit on this for a while and instead drop something new. But Logic says they love to have Zelda every year. It's a big seller. Skyward Sword did impressively well in terms of reception and sales, so they'd probably be silly not to put this out if it's something they already have complete. But a holiday season of new Pokemon, Metroid, Bayonetta, and Breath of the Wild 2 just was a lot more exciting than a holiday of Advance Wars, old Zelda, and Pokemon. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, that mid-June Direct could be banging. It could be pumped full of new unexpected things, and honestly, I do hope that there are surprises that nobody knows about. Rumors are fun, predictions are great, but true surprises like Mario Strikers Battle League this year or new Pokemon Snap, that was like super cool and just a wonderful moment that you always remember. Let me know if you would be excited about Twilight Princess and Wind Waker getting confirmed for Nintendo Switch this year. October release, double pack. Does that get the juices flowing? Or does it feel like, you know what? Just skip it this time. Let me know what you think. I know what you're thinking though about 300. I made a 300 related poll, which I thought was pretty darn neat. And I was asking you can only pick one of these for Nintendo to do. 300 of what? 300 new villagers in Animal Crossing, 300 brand new Pokemon for Scarlet and Violet, 300 new weapons in Splatoon 3, 300 additional DLC moons for Mario Odyssey, 300 new mini games for Mario Party Superstars. And man, I was impressed by your picks. The big winner was 300 new Pokemon, because that would make Generation 9 absolutely sublime and divine. I would like that a lot. 39% picked that. But I was surprised that 22% followed it up with Mario Party Superstars. A big minigame bonanza actually does sound pretty cool. They should bring some boards along with it. 300 new moons came in next with 18. 300 new villagers for Animal Crossing was 14%. That's what I picked just because I spent so much time with that game and it's such a bummer that they just left it in the dust. So I'd love to see them go back and bring us a bunch of new content. And 300 new villagers, that's a lot of content. That's a lot of new animals and probably would include new species, which would be really a nice infusion. Only 6% said 300 new weapons for Splatoon 3 because that's a lot. You only need a few different weapons, right? A few different good ones because you're not going to switch them out every single match. That would be madness. And it's madness that we made it to 300. Again, stay tuned. We got more fun stuff coming this week to celebrate the new era, changing up the set, Switch Force Astrology Club, and more. So thank you once again for being so wonderful and awesome to me. I genuinely appreciate it. I got goosebumps. Like, it feels so good. This is where I feel the most like I'm putting my pure, true self out there for you. In all the YouTube I've done, this is like the best. So thank you so much. I love you all dearly. I appreciate you even more. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Here's the 300 more. And until next time, thanks again, everybody. Switch Force out.